Chicago has it all, from culture, architecture, art, and business. Even though Chicago is diverse, due to ethnic, economic, and geographic segregation, it is still depicted as being two cities. Global Girl media reporters are on a mission to find the bridges between the two Chicagos. We took to the streets of Chicago to interview people who journeyed from nowhere to somewhere, youth and community organizations that dedicate their time to create a better and more unified city.
This is a story about Chicago women who overcame obstacles to create their own success stories. Lakeisha Grace Sewell is a woman who overcame many obstacles, such as her parents' divorce, poverty, and tensions in her neighborhood. Despite the obstacles, she is now the founder of the Girls Like Me organization.
I was born on the east side of Chicago, southeast side, 79th. Issues that myself, along with other girls like me, we dealt with is constantly having this prevalence of violence. You know, fighting and aggression. It was always a fight for space. So fighting for me was a huge issue when I was growing up. I always felt like I was poor. I always believed that I was poor and that limited me. What made me want to start and establish Girls Like Me project is twofold. So one is everything that happened to me when I was a child and the way that I felt. Our girls are taught that, you know, they belong here with black girls. That wasn't reality, that was just what I was conditioned to believe about myself. And as soon as I realized that I can change that and those limitations were false, I didn't want another girl to grow up feeling that way. I'm sorry.
As a teenager, Sharice struggled with drugs in a rough Chicago neighborhood. She went on to college, got married, and raised 4 children. After obtaining her commercial driver's license, she moved to a nearby suburb and became a driver for one of the largest transit systems in the United States.
My friends had a lot of effect on me when I was younger. Friend, she was introduced to drugs. So she eventually introduced me to it also. The moment that made me decide to get off drugs were my kids. I just took one look at my kids and decided they did not deserve that. The challenges that I faced while trying to get off drugs it was just basically very hard. I wanted to get off, but I didn't know how. It just felt like, you know, I was alone. Because of me getting off drugs, I'm doing what I'm doing and I'm where I'm at today. It's nice being a female bus driver. It's great, I love it. It's very fun and I meet a lot of interesting people every day.
Crystal Odom grew up on the south side of Chicago. When times were hard and avoiding peer pressure was not easy, she decided that to build a bridge to a successful life, she had to finish high school and graduate college.
In Chicago, I do feel that there is an economic segregation. There were certain neighborhoods and certain housing projects that were developed in the city that low-income families lived in. Those have been torn down throughout the years, back in the 80s and the 90s. Years ago, there was a different type of segregation, I think, within the blacks and the whites, even particularly in the neighborhood, for example, where I went to school with in the Inglewood community. When I went there, it was African American, but you could go across the border on Western Avenue, and that neighborhood, Marquette Park, was very white. It starts from within that individual, just knowing or maybe having someone who can remind them that there is hope. There is always an opportunity for you to defy an odd, but you have to have faith. Don't ever forget to go back and give back and pay it forward.
This is Imani Turner, report from Global Girl Media Chicago. This is Our World and My Voice.